build a DALI test set. And so here's a few parts we're going to use. We've got to have a bus supply, and the most important switch in this thing is going to be the one that disconnects this from your output lines, because you might want to test a DALI system that's got the power on it, or you might want to supply your own. This is going to be our breakout box, because we got fancy DALI stuff here that takes RJ45s to hook it together, but this will get us out to hook to our system. And there's a 0 to 10 volt converter in here, so that's going to be pretty snappy. Got an interconnection box for the RJ45s, and here is the thing that actually issues the commands. We've got 4 steps and a slider, so we should be set. Alright, prior to buttoning this up, this thing that looks like a nest of worms, we want to give it an initial test, and we're going to use our one button touch dimming demonstrator that uses this pulse width modulated driver module. 12 volts comes in here, DC. We looked at the pulse width modulated output in a DALI LED pulse width modulated driver video. This is AC off this 12 volt supplies transformer, so you can consider it 12 volt AC, and pushing this button gives you on and off and dim up and dim down control. Now, this module will also accept DALI. Says it right on there, DALI protocol. So we have a DALI transmitter now, and we have a DALI receiver. So let's give it an initial check. Okay, I have disconnected the 12 volt AC lines that go to this push button to control this, and I've hooked those same terminals up to the DALI bus. And we can see that indeed our unit's working, including the slide dimming function. So what we're going to do is take a look at this a little bit, just a little tiny bit. By the way, on this board we have our power on with a pilot light, because this is test equipment. We might need to take it on a construction site, so a pilot light's handy to let you know that you are actually powered up. Got a DALI supply. This one says 12 volt DC, but I bet it isn't. The last one I looked at said 24 volt DC, but it wasn't either. Here we have an interconnecting box. Our DALI bus supply comes here, and it's interconnected to this switch. So I didn't want to mess with breaking out the cable, so I just put it together this way. This module also functions as a 0 to 10 volt current sink. We're going to be checking those terminals, and we're going to be qualifying the output on some DALI lighting using this rig pretty soon. Now, one question is, what does this module do if it loses its DALI bus voltage? And the answer is, drum roll please, lights go to full. That is typical factory programmed behavior for a DALI driver or ballast. So with that unhooked, let's see about this bus voltage. And DALI buses need to run, or should run, between 12 and 20 volts. Anywhere in that range should be pretty good. 16 is nominal. Oh, look at that. We have 15.74 volts out of a power supply that says plus 12 volt DC right on it. Kind of typical for a DALI supply. Now, one interesting thing is when I hit these buttons, you really don't see this fluctuating. It says 15.73. But if I work this slider continuously, I'm seeing the voltage dropping down 14, 13 point something, 15. The reason that's happening is because DALI control gear issues commands by shorting the DALI bus lines together up to, I believe, 12,500 times per second. So we're seeing the effects of that code being transmitted through the rapid shorting of the DALI power supply output. And we're seeing some kind of an averagey DC voltage. We'll look at this stuff on an O-scope. Why not? We'll drive some more stuff with our test gear to see how it works, and we'll hook this up to an O-scope or to a PC through our fancy test rig, so that we can monitor what the messages are that are actually coming on the DALI bus to command the DALI drivers and modules. We'll also take a look at exactly what we have on the board with a basic block diagram, and so those videos will be coming up in the very near future.